Heard on Thursdays with Nikki is about to go live online. Catch HOT, the iconic radio show that made Philippine FM radio talk, every Thursday on the Monster.
Streaming video on the Monster Facebook page at RX931, the Monster YouTube channel at RX931, and twitch.tv/Monster RX931.
You heard on Thursday's host, Nikki Porter. Stand by and enjoy the program.
Hey, good evening, monsters, and welcome to the show that made Philippine FM radio talk, heard on Thursdays on The Monster. And I'm your host, Nikki Porter. In the digital landscape of content creation, you'll find yourselves scrolling through quick 15-seconder or even less TikToks of dance challenges, of ad-libs, or just random memes. So where has the novelty of storytelling even gone? Well, thankfully, some creators are dedicated to a narrative they'd like to share, whether it's stories about themselves or about other people, and some include even a touch of intrigue or, dare I say, a bit of fear. Tonight's guest is a Filipino content creator who loves storytime, or should I say, spooky storytime, if you like the kind of thing. His name is Lester Buji Babiera, and not only is he a storyteller on TikTok, his early claim to fame were his 3 separate features on TV. Buji not only began his online journey in 2023, yet his TikTok following has already grown to over 2.8 million followers. He loves to share his stories, as a PSA or, just for scares, really, whether locally or even internationally, like in France and Italy. But aside from content creation, Buji is also an active cycling advocate, as he is the founder of First Bike Ride, a community of cyclists that promotes bike riding and advocates safe cycling. His advocacy work has also garnered recognition at the Social Good Summit 2024. Heard on Thursdays, let's welcome to the show, Buji Babiera! Here we go. Hi!
Hey, hi. Hello everyone. Hello to our listeners. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Buji. So nice for you to drop by on the show. And I want to start off by asking, you were featured 3 times on TV, not for the same occasion. You were mahilig sa Facebook, you were cyclist advocate, and you were also saksi. So what were the backstories on each of those instances?
I guess, Nikki, that's I would consider my first taste of virality online back before doing content creation. So after college, I was just like resting at home because I was like waiting for employment. I was doing nothing. And because I graduated journalism in USC, and one of my friends from the upper batch asked us, sino dito nakapag-Facebook live or Facebook video? So I said, I tried it. So, and then she said, okay, a reporter will go to your house and will interview you. So, can I say the channel?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, TV Patrol, they came to my house and we filmed while doing live Facebook video with a friend. And so I thought that's it. Like they were gonna report how I did the Facebook video chat. And then when it aired, the producer or the reporter, there's this cards right? Like Lester Buji Babiera. And then there's the description. And they put there, mahilig mag-Facebook. Because they cannot put unemployed. And I was like, what the
my
hell?
gosh.
I'm known now nationwide as that person who is mahilig mag-Facebook.
Then
I posted,
I love
it. Then I posted it online. I posted it online on Twitter, on Facebook, and it went viral. Like strangers were saying, why did this person who likes going on Facebook got interviewed? Like, and then people started adding me on Facebook. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And then they're
Oh
just
my
like, oh, mahilig ka pala mag-Facebook ah. Ito, add kita or something like that. I was like, that was
mm,
crazy. And
oh
then
my goodness.
after a few years, I was cycling. I was cycling.
Mhm.
It was during the pandemic. I was cycling and uh, I witnessed a road crash. A motorcycle
Mm.
crashed a truck because like this this drunk motorcyclist, he was beating the red light, and
Yeah.
then uh, there was a big accident. There was a big crash. Then reporters came, and then they started looking for a witness. And it
Mm-mm.
happened to be me. So they interviewed me, and yeah, it was Buji Babiera Saksi. So I was like, okay. And then I posted it online, like, I now evolved from someone who's
Oo.
writing on Facebook to Saksi, and then people were fascinated. It went viral. And
Yeah.
then after a few weeks, I got interviewed by TV Patrol again, and this time for my advocacy. So I posted it again, and people were saying, "Wow, what a glow up from someone
Oo.
who's just like going
Mahilig sa
online on
Facebook.
Facebook."
Oo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And now he's a cycling advocate. Like, what a glow up! And then it was during the pandemic, so they call me, oh, the different variant of Fuji.
That's so no, actually that's still really cool though, because it's like you should use that I think for your Instagram, your TikTok or whatever it is. Yung mga mahilig mag-Facebook cyclist advocate, yung
Yeah,
mga
yeah,
ganon. Yeah,
yeah,
so at least it's like, but I love that you're kind of just like it's like making fun, like poking fun at yourself na
yes, yes,
you
yes.
were featured on TV 3 times, different occasions, but then you know what? It's a glow up anyway na hindi ka na
Yeah,
mahilig ka pa rin siguro mag-Facebook, pero ngayon, advocate ka na.
yes, yes. And mahilig na rin ako mag-Twitter, mahilig mag-Instagram,
Ayun.
mahilig mag-TikTok. Yeah.
Oo, yun. Baka, who knows, we might circle back to that. Baka ma-interview ka ulit, mahilig mag-TikTok. O,
Yeah,
di
why
ba?
not? Correct, 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 correct. A different variant.
Oo, exactly. Kasi tatlo na yung kilala namin, di ba? So,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah. So, would you say then like you were at the right place at the right time for those 3 instances?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Parang it was people were asking, oh, maybe he knows people from the TV station. I was like, no, it just happened. It just
Mm-mm.
happened. Really, it just happened.
Yeah. So outside of TV naman, like, do you think that right place, right time, like that saying has occurred in your life outside of like, being featured?
Yeah, I guess like maybe meeting people, connecting with friends, like especially now that I'm on social media, like what? I get connected with people like that I never thought that I'll be connected with. So maybe
Mm-mm.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because parents like you never know, diba? Like when you bike somewhere, you witness
Yeah,
a road crash, and then when you're
yeah,
may kilala ka pala na kailangan may interview, tapos ikaw you have the
yeah,
credentials for it.
correct,
So
correct,
it's
correct.
really yeah but it all depends on like your decision siguro, and like actually taking the
Mm-mm.
chance. So
Yeah.
before we'll putting aside your three TV identities, your variants, as you say, who is Buji for everyone super close to you or have met you, like before the influence and the recognition? Like, did you have a day job back then, or do you still have one now?
hmm Well, I used to write for the newspaper and
Mm-hmm.
magazine, and I was a media producer as well. Like I was doing corporate videos for corporate AVPs. I was like
Okay.
doing random videos for uh, small projects, for tourism videos. So that was my day job before, but now I'm a full-time content creator. So I do cycling content and storytime videos.
Ah, okay. And so with regard to, you're doing when you were doing like when you're working in media for like, those AVP projects, did that help you transition into content creation because you had maybe an idea of how to shoot
Mm.
videos?
In a way, but I was like having a conversation with a friend yesterday. I was like, because on TikTok, like people there, they want it raw. They want something that they think that, oh, I can do it. So all of the
Mm.
things that I learned from production, like big lights, big cameras, full blown editing, like I had to set that aside because the audience now, they wanted more raw, like more like the easier kind of content creation. But of course, I my core of how I tell stories on videos, it was still there. I still applied it with
Mm.
my TikTok videos.
Okay.
But
Okay. So.
I guess the
Mm.
I'd like to add that, but I guess the core of my content, whether it's on cycling or on TikTok, is uh it was rooted from my background as a journalist in the newspaper telling stories. So I just translated it from telling it on print. Now I tell it on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah. And also, I guess you can say in some way you had to unlearn some parts of the journalism because it's more
Yeah.
casual and how you deliver it
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
online, diba?
Mm-mm.
But then the
Correct, correct,
storytelling's
correct.
still there.
Yes,
So, which
yes,
is,
yes, yes.
which I had an idea. Like, I was like, for some, I've always had this notion of like, if people like to tell stories, there's something about them that's like, I have a feeling that they're a writer at the very least
Yeah,
for
yeah,
them
yeah,
to
yeah.
for them to
Correct,
like
correct,
telling
correct, correct.
stories. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So then in 2023, as I read, like when you started creating your storytime TikToks, what
Mm-hmm.
made you decide to start creating those? Because that was after the pandemic already.
Yeah, so my TikTok journey started with me having COVID. So I was stuck at home. I was in quarantine for 10 days, and I was like I have this my group of friends. You were telling who's gonna be the first person who will be on TikTok. And I said, it's not me. I don't want to be on TikTok. I don't want to dance. I don't want to sing.
Mm, right.
And but then I got COVID. I was bored in my room and said, oh my god, maybe this is the sign that I download TikTok. So I downloaded TikTok and I didn't tell my friends that I downloaded it. And so I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Like I was just scrolling for hours and I was finding myself enjoying the app.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, maybe someday I'll try to upload or uh uh do content on TikTok. Yeah, so I tried learning what to hit, like what what content can I produce. As long as I'm not dancing, as long as I'm not singing, I think like I really wanna do content. At first I thought, oh, maybe I'll do food content, like going to restaurants, going to cafes, travel, but
Mm-mm.
story time was the one that picked up. So eventually
Mm.
did that.
So you were experimenting on different
Yeah.
different executions and how you wanted to post videos before
Yes.
actually landing on story time.
Yes. At first, so I downloaded the app January 2022. I
Mhm.
started making content January 2023. But I would like to believe that I studied the platform first, and I
Yeah.
said, okay, I'll challenge myself. Starting January, I'll post consistently for 30 days. Just like post something. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter if it's like a 10-second video, if it's a, a food video, a bike video. As long as I post something that day, I'll just post it just for the
Mm.
discipline of it. And then in in that 1 month, the story time picked up. So it started. It was really quick, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what was like, could you remember like the very first video you posted that was story time?
So I had this challenge, right? Of I
Mm-hmm.
must post something for 30 days.
Yeah.
One day, one video. And during that time, I was busy because there was this day that I got busy because we were uh protesting for a removal of bike lane
Okay.
in Makati. So I said, "Oh my God, I don't have any content. What should I do?" But since I already had a different content uh, on my cycling platform, I said, "Why not? I'll read that story
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm,
post it on TikTok because there was this story, a horror story about a biker who got into an accident, who died because he was it was a hit and run incident. Because
okay.
there were no bike lanes. So but I kind of tweaked it was a fictional story. I kind of tweaked it just
Mm,
to make the story in line with my advocacy.
yeah.
And yeah, so it was an easy content for me. I just read it and yeah, it hit. It became a hit.
Yeah. Okay. So at least it was, you started off with something you already knew. And then
Yes,
from
yes,
there,
yes, yes.
you wrote a fictional story about, like, just to spread, kind of like soft selling your advocacy
Yes,
um,
yes, yes.
in that
Self sell,
sense.
yeah, that's correct. Self selling the
Yeah.
advocacy.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-mm.
And so, is it, are some of your stories like still fictional now, or are you trying to lean more into like real life stories?
No, most of my stories are real life stories. These
Mm,
are my personal stories, stories of my friends, stories
mm,
of stories that read from the news, from the
yeah.
internet. But from time to time, if it's interesting, I tell fictional stories. But as a
Mm.
journalist, I need to put a disclaimer at the end that it's
Disclaimer.
fictional.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
cannot. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because like, you don't wanna be a part of that pool of people who spread fake news. So the
Yes,
disclaimer is
correct, correct,
very,
correct, correct, correct,
very
correct.
understandable naman din. And I will admit, kasi like, when I saw, at first I saw like, ooh, story time, that's cool. And then, parang when I went to your page, it was like horror story time. And then I started to read more of the stories, and I was like, I don't want to watch this at night. Kasi ay
Yes, yes,
matakutin.
yes, yes, yes.
Kahit na
Correct, correct,
kinukwento mo
correct.
lang.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
so it started with all horror stories, but I'm trying to shift now to sometimes less horror stories.
Yeah.
Recently I did a post about a love story,
Mm.
the one that got away story. So it became a hit as well. So I was like, oh, okay. My audience is now evolving. They're now welcoming non-horror stuff, which is also beneficial to me because, to be honest, I'm not horror is like my least favorite genre. And
Same.
I didn't know
Same.
why I became a horror storyteller.
Yeah.
And and sometimes when I'm filming, I really get scared as well. So
No.
okay, I'm glad I'm trying to, yeah. So horror
Yeah.
stories. It started with horror stories, then started mixing crime stories, and
Mm.
then now just any story time video. Yeah,
Okay, okay. So you're trying to move out of that mold na
yeah,
horror lang.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
That's good for me too.
yeah,
You're gonna venture out of there. So
yeah.
so I want to know, like, do people like give you content also to talk about? You said you also get from your friends or wherever you find
Mm.
it online. So usually, like, how, like, where do you find your ideas when you create your storytime videos?
There are other people like followers who send in their stories, but most of the time my stories just really comes from my personal experience, my friends, and because I want to ask permission first from
Yeah.
them if
Yeah.
I can tell their stories. In terms of strangers sending me their stories, sometimes sometimes it takes a long time because they will I really need to secure their permission first.
Mm-mm.
So sometimes it ends up like not telling their stories anymore because I'm packed with more lineup. So parang
Yeah. Yeah.
ganon, ganun yung
Yeah.
nangyayari.
Okay. Well, at least it's actually people who really give you like their
Yeah,
story, but then also you
Yeah.
asking for their permission, which is, what a
Mm.
journalist would do naman talaga.
Yeah. That
Totoo.
probably that's one of the things that I got from, the practice.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
so, okay, whenever you record these videos, like I want to know, and I feel like for those who want to create content, they haven't started, but that because they're just overwhelmed, like the time it'll take, what they're gonna do, what they're gonna post, and all
Mm.
these things. So this is kind of like a little 101, I guess, when it comes to content creation. So for
Yeah.
you, when it came to producing the content, you recording yourself, how long did it take for you to know the story? I don't know if it was by heart, but it would jump to clips din naman, diba, to continue the
Mm.
story. And then for you to just like record for the rest of the day, how long would that take?
I think the filming process with editing, maybe I'll give myself 1 hour. It's just easy. It's like very, very simple editing, very simple filming. Uh,
Okay.
I write the stories first before I record it. It's not like an impromptu thing, like just
Yeah,
recording.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so the flow. For like many people are saying, oh, I like the flow. It's because I wrote it first. It was
Yeah.
already, uh, it was already laid out. I
Mm-mm.
already, uh, what do you call it? It's already intact. So
Mm-mm.
maybe 30 minutes. The hardest part for me is choosing what story to post that day, because I feel like telling this story, or do you think my audience
Ah.
will like this today? So that was the hardest part. So sometimes I have many lineup of stories, not
Mm-hmm.
yet filmed, but I I'm holding back on uploading them because I was thinking, oh, maybe this is not yet the right time for them to be uploaded. So
Mm.
that takes the longer time.
I
Pero
see.
generally, it's just quick. Maybe 3 hours.
Okay, at the most in a day.
Yeah, at the most in a
Okay.
day.
All right. And so okay, you would record in public. So first of all, how did you get over the fear of recording, like, showing your face? A lot of us get very insecure like showing our face on video.
Mm, mm-hmm.
So how did you get over that? And then how did you also get over recording yourself in public? Because you're walking around, you're not just stationary, you're walking around and you're holding it
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
know. So it's like how where is it coming from? How did you move past the insecurity in
Mm.
recording your videos?
So Nikki, nung una, like I was telling you, like I studied the platform, and
Yeah.
one of the best ways of growing an audience is for them to see a face on
Mm,
that account. I said,
yeah.
okay, I'll show my face, and it's okay. No one knows me on TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
like my first goal was not like growing big. It's just like I just want to upload.
Mm-mm.
So I said, oh, my friends are not there. My family members are not there. I'm not gonna, they're not gonna see me do whatever I do on TikTok, because it's just gonna be an outlet for me to produce content, tell a story. But then I didn't know that's gonna be blown up. Like now that like, it's gonna be big. Now they see my face
Yeah.
all over. So parang wala na akong choice. So I just need to put my face out there. Kasi parang wala na. I was just forced to just put my face out there with so many people seeing me. So parang okay, wala, ganun talaga.
Yeah.
And yeah, tapos what was the second question
The
again?
second question is like how do you like get rid of like the shyness when you're recording in
Ah,
public?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like people are asking, 'di ba? Parang di ka ba nadadapa? Like, di ka ba
Yun din.
nahihiya? So what I do, because the lines are already on my notes,
Mm-mm.
like I make sure that there's no one around before I start recording, and I make sure that that short time, 15 seconds, maybe it's 15 seconds per paragraph.
Mm.
That short time, the pathway is clear, so that I don't, get myself in trouble. So I just make
Okay.
sure that there's like no no people watching. So I usually film 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. before people go out of their offices, people go out of
Yeah.
their school. So like no one's gonna see me. But if if there are like people out there. I just like thought, oh my god, it's just like work. I just need to finish this. So if I just get shy, wala akong magagawa. Kailangan ko talaga
Mm.
siyang matapos. So I just need to film whatever. And uh yeah, they'll just forget. They'll just forget that I was filming. So it's okay lang yun. Hindi naman din
Mm.
nila ako kilala.
Yeah. And so, well, they don't know you yet, diba? Baka
Yeah.
one day they'll approach you. Baka they'll be like, are you
Pero
Storytime, Buji?
pero it was interesting. Someone messaged me this morning, like, Kuya, I saw you filming yesterday.
Oh,
But I was just too shy to approach you. I was like, oh my god, nakita na ako.
okay lang, shy din ako.
Yeah. Correct. Mabuti na lang hindi mo ako pinansin.
Diba? Yeah, it's much better to not know na parang if someone's watching you or not. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think what's a really good takeaway is that you said that the paragraphs you would try and make it 15 seconds long. So at least that's how long you know that you would be recording a
Yeah.
segment of it. So I mean that I feel like would be a good strategy for, any monsters out there who are listening or watching that they want to create content and they want to be in public or they want to know how long it takes to record certain parts or how to go about recording it. That's one strategy if you guys want to be a storyteller like Buji.
Correct.
So yeah.
That's
And
part
so,
of the planning.
yeah. So planning talaga, write your script. You don't have to wing it the first time. You can be prepared. Yeah. And so from your story time videos, could you think of like which were some of the most viral ones that garnered millions of views? Because I've seen some that were like millions of views nga. But for
Yeah.
you, like which ones were like memorable and viral to you?
I think the most impactful one was when I did a story about the oil spill in Mindoro. So last year,
Ah,
there was a massive oil spill in Mindoro in the Verde Island Passage. And I'm really into sustainability, into protecting the environment. So I was invited to go there to do a story time videos because to reach more audience and tell the story of what's happening during the oil spill. Because apparently during when it was urgent, it was not being talked about on mainstream media. So I said, okay, I'll go to Mindoro. Let's film. Let's let's tell the story so more people would know. And yeah, in a span of 24 hours, it garnered 3 million views, and now it got 8 million views. And I remember months after that, I went to Palawan for vacation. Someone approached me, a tourist from Bohol, and he said, "Hey, you're the one who told the story about the oil spill. I learned about it because of you." And I was like, "Oh, didn't know
nice.
that it could reach that far."
Mhm.
And many people are telling me like, "What's an until now they're even asking what's the update on the oil spill? What's happening with the oil spill now?" And I think it served like the video served its purpose.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was just like really memorable for me. Uh uh like I was able to uh uh think na wow, I can, in my own ways I can help, diba? I can help and let people know about it. And after that video, well, after that video, like more help came to
Mm.
Mindoro and to help stop the spreading of the oil spill. So I think that's the most impactful one. But I think one of the most memorable is also the first video, definitely the bike lanes.
Bike lanes.
Uh, 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 the first story time video because it started everything.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, like it's funny also that you mentioned these two videos that were really about the you with your passion for advocacy and for you to want to help out in terms of sustainability and whatever it may be. And so, I actually want to talk to you now about first bike ride. So,
Mm-hmm.
could you tell us what it's about. It was like it's a community for those who, um, what's this, promotes bike riding and advocates safe cycling. So like, when did that start, and like, what is it that you do now with that
Mm.
initiative?
So it was my first venture on content creation. It
Mm-hmm.
happened in 2020. I was planning to do a business. And part of that business was learning social media management. So we enrolled in classes, we studied
Mm-hmm.
social media management, but the business did not materialize. And I realized, so what should I do with the learnings that I got? So I said, oh, maybe I'll apply it, and because it's a social media based on uh, doing business. So I said, oh, maybe I'll do uh, a social media page which sells cycling. Like
Mm-hmm.
if someone tells me like, oh, I am now biking because I saw it on your page, that's like one sale for me. Like just like an application of the
Mm-hmm.
lessons that I learned. So I thought it's
Yeah.
not gonna. I thought first bike ride will not, you know, it will just be for like 2 months, 3 months, but it like rapidly grew, and until now it's still growing. So from from a practice social media account, it grew as a, a full time content page, and which built a community, and now uh, we're now doing events. I'm still telling stories about cycling. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what happened with first bike ride.
Ah, okay. And yeah, you're right. It's like there are more people who are also interested in wanting more sustainable transports to, bring themselves from point A to point B. The thing is, it's like, it's so challenging, I would assume, to bike around Manila, considering yun nga, our bike lanes are just painted on, or like there's a barrier bigla or something
Mm-mm.
that's also impeding, the main thoroughfares in some areas. So I want to ask though, how effective are these bike lanes? As someone who cycles a lot, how effective is it, and how do you think that system, could be improved?
Well, the painted bike lanes, practically they're not really safe. It's just like a mere paint, which
Mm-hmm.
can still endanger our lives. But it gives us a certain assurance that, oh, at least there's like something, a space dedicated for us, quote unquote dedicated for us. So we still get confidence in cycling on our roads. But I think, in a general sense, those people who are in power, who can manage to change our road designs, would really uh, need to think their priorities, that they need people to be safe, and that there are people who ride their bikes on their work. There are people who are there are vulnerable road users on the road who needs to be protected. So, parang yeah, that's my take on that.
Yeah. And I feel like you can say more pa nga eh, pero it's okay. We are a little what's this? We're a little bit short on time na rin, but then also I want to know, what are some courtesies that people should know about when, as a cyclist and as, a driver on the road.
Hmm. Well, as a cyclist, of course, be defensive as much as possible, because at the end of the day, you're on the more vulnerable side, and if there's a crash, most likely you're the one who's gonna be hurt, diba? And for drivers, I hope they know and they learn to respect other road users as well. And they should take note that they have this vehicle that can hurt other people, and they are the more privileged ones on the road. Like they're faster, they're on an air conditioned space, they're uh they have a bigger vehicle that can move uh like better on the road. So I hope they can adjust and learn to respect us and keep us safe, because they're the one who has more control of everyone's safety.
Mm-mm. Okay. Well, and are there any other advocacies that you would like to share that you also follow and that you also dedicate your time to?
Yeah, I'm currently under the program of Make Sense Asia, where we are advocating more sustainable lifestyle. So I was chosen there because I'm advocating sustainable transport, which is cycling. But in general, yeah, I just hope we everyone. I just like to remind everyone to be mindful with their choices, and I hope we live a more sustainable lifestyle. So yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. And I also like that there were like this was a two part kind of no, actually three-part kind of interview. Meron ka ding evolution dito. So from your
Yes, may
TV
variants
feature,
din ako.
may variants ka din. From the features to your TikTok and your content creation to now an advocate. I love it. It is very consistent with you, Fuji.
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, anyway, thank you very much for taking the time. And before we go, actually, invite the monsters who are listening or watching also, if they want to be a part of First Bike Ride, if they want to catch you, share your story times, go ahead.
Yes. If you're into cycling or if you want to bike, follow me on Instagram and on Facebook. It's at First Bike Ride. And if you like to listen to my stories, go on TikTok. It's at Buji Babiera. And you can also follow me on my personal social media accounts at Buji Babiera on Facebook and at Buji Babiera on Instagram. Nikki, thank you very much for having me here. I really love the time
Yeah.
talking about the things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, and it's such a pleasure to have you here. And I'm all about storytelling and helping people achieve whatever it is that they want. And at this point, this is like about content creation. No? So, thank you very much, and I hope that more people are drawn to your advocacies as well. So, with that, I end Heard on Thursdays. Keep it locked only here on the Monster. Bye bye.
Monster exclusive interview. Monster exclusive interview. Only from Manila's hottest. Monster RX 93.1.